Hello guys, this is my VATS Sniper Bow build. This build works on crossbows and bows. Um, Most enemies will die in one or two hits, depending on the range and what enemy you're fighting. This doesn't work too well on bosses though, so it's more accurately for like super mutants and death claws, stuff you find out in the world. You can use this against bosses, depending on the legendary effects you use. So if you use explosive or weapon, but just in general, weapons that do more armor penetration, legendary effects like that, you could use against bosses, but this is specifically made for like the enemies I said. So they'll show you. I'm going to show you the perk cards, the mutations, and my legendary perk cards, and the weapon I'm using and its legendary effects, and what damage it does to enemies. Um, and then I'm also going to show you the food I use too. So these are my perk cards. The first two perk cards in strength are used for carry weight. The third is important. 20% of the damage you deal to one. Or, wait. Um, Damage you do. You hit one limb in VATS, the more you do 20% 20% of that damage in all limbs. That's important to do more damage. Concentrated fire is important. The reason is that this bow from very long ranges, like in Eviction Notice, where the enemies are very far away, accuracy is a bit of a problem without perception maxed out. Well, maxed out as much as I can do it. Um, so, concentrated fire is very important because each shot gives you more accuracy and more damage. So that's important against most enemies and far away enemies. Hat trick and bow before me are very important. Um, bow arrows deal 70% damage to three additional targets. So it bounces between them. This is important for groups of enemies where you're trying to get groups and like usually use the example of eviction notice. That's very important to kill more super mutants. Bow before me is a interesting one. It ignores 40% armor, has 10 stagger chance. So that'll stack with tank killer, the arm penetration. It'll also stack with your legendary effect for armor penetration too. So it'll really ignore enemies' armor like a lot. The hunter is important. It gives you more vision in VATS from a distance. I'm not sure if this will affect very long distances. I'm not fully sure. If you're doing a short distance or a mid distance, it would work. Downranger is very important. It gives you 20% range damage. So especially since this is a sniper build specifically, or a very long range weapon build, the damage will be slightly better than what you would get regularly. And then Tank Killer, the generic armor penetration, and this is what I talked about just a second ago. Life Giver, Skeleton, and those are good for endurance and keeping your health up. Schools specifically need the Skeleton perk because it gives you limb damage reduction. Star Students is very good for mutations. Stranger Number is also important for mutations. United Ordeal is used to get more agility, luck, and strength. That's very important to max out perception as well. Field Surgeon, these and two intelligence perks are just used to have care weight and give more snap healing. So yeah, Action Boy and Action Ghoul are very important to keep your AP up. You don't burn through too much AP, but it does burn through more than some other weapons. Adrenaline's very important. I'm not using a onslaught build, which it wouldn't really work too well with the crossbow I'm using, so I'm using adrenaline instead. The more kills you get, specifically maxing out at 10, you do 10% more damage for each kill you get. Dodgy and hyper reflexes are used to evade enemies. A dodgy actually might get re-AP more, so if you wanted to switch dodgy out for let's say Enforcer or Modern Renegade to do more damage to enemies, I would do that. And you could also switch out Gunslinger, it gives you more weak spot damage for that. because it gives you more damage to your enemies' limbs, or some just more weak spot damage to your enemies. Agility and luck should be maxed out because it gives you crit damage for your VATS and also more action points. The generic VATS critical builds per cards. So better criticals gives you 100% more damage in crits. Four-leaf clover more misses you get in VATS contribute to your critical meter. Class 3 is very important for your reducing your negative effects for your mutations. Glowing criticals, you do more crits when your glow is high. Crit damage, so that also stacks with better criticals, so it does 135 more damage. And when later when I talk about Eagle Eye, that gives you 50% more damage to crits, so that'd be 185% more crit damage if you stack it all, which is pretty insane. Grim Reaper Sprint, any kill in VATS restores action points. That's important to increase the more action points you have in battle. Critical Savvy, the critical hits only consume 70% of your meter, critical meter. That's important to get like a crits very often, so it doesn't just deplete your entire meter. Junk Shield's used for resistances with energy resistance and damage resistance. 99 junk items specifically will give you 107, I think, junk, 109 junk resistance. Ricochet, you can switch this out for another per card, depending. So I'd use like Scrounger for getting ammo. I just use this because it gives you a lot of deflecting power. Legendary per cards next. Let's see. I use legendary luck to increase my luck and perk points. I also use agility too. This saves me perk points so I can put on other points. This also gets you a little bit more agility. And intelligence is important too to give me more intelligence to level up faster, because this build, so also this build thrives when you're in a team, since you do 20% more damage when enemies attack you. So once they hit you, you do more damage to enemies. And Mushroom Infiltrator is just for exploring the world and unlocking terminals without using the 3 perk cards that help you pick lock stuff. Next, let's talk about food items. So I would recommend using company tea. Even though I'm a carnivore build, I wouldn't recommend using Blackberry Honeycrisp unless you don't have the company tea machine. If you don't, I'd recommend using this Blackberry Honeycrisp, because it gives you 5% regen speed or regen. But this gives you 10% regen, so this would be important. I'm also going to so cooked soft shell meat gives you 40% AP. So I'm sure there's a couple other meat-based items that give you more AP, but I specifically have all of these food generating machines and collectors. So I just take all the meat from those and use them in my builds. Let's see, what's the other one I was looking for? Deathclaw Steak gives you strength for carry weight, which is important. Going on a stick gives you 2 luck. It's not too much. Actually, no, I should be on a team so I can get more buffs. Just give me a minute. Okay, there we go. Now it's yeah. So then damage resistance with Marlick Jerky is important. That's very important for damage resistance. Pemmican is important for endurance, to increase your health by a certain amount. Red Rare Stick is very important. Increases your perception, like I said before. Your perception really determines how far away you'll be able to shoot. Let's see, what else can we do for this? Yeah, it's kind of it. But then scroll on a stick gives you 6 agility, so that'll max out your agility even more. Those are my food items. Let's go over my my legendary effects next. Return reaction gives you on a kill streak, gives you more damage. Carnivore is kind of a certain specifically used for this build. Technically for crit builds, Um, Herbivores use for this better because it gives you crits and more AP, I think. I just don't. I just use carnivore specifically because I got a lot of food items, and it's not as bad because you still have other AP regen and AP for this build that doesn't decrease. Like Company T doesn't get rid of the negative effects due to carnivore. Eagle Eye is used for crit damage and perception. Egghead's used for a little bit more intelligence to get you more XP. Jump height's very important, so in events like you go stand roofs or higher places, and you shoot enemies from those distances. It's a very good idea to in events and other situations, or jump on a roof or a platform you can stand on to shoot from a distance. Speed demons are very important. Reload speed for weapons like the crossbow is very important for reloading. Those are my mutations. I did food items, that one, and then I was going to show you the weapon speed. Or not weapon speed, the weapon damage. So, over here there are some ghouls that camp over here, usually, and also another player killed them. I won't be able to do the crit damage, but I do want to show you how much it does, generally, between them. There's one or two of them over here, depending. Let's go see if I can, and see, it did damage to that guy, too. He didn't, I don't think you saw what damage it did. But it was a pretty decent amount of damage, I would say. And that's the damage there. This should be used against like groups of enemies specifically, where that's very good against bigger groups, where more damage is done. This wasn't with a crit, so if it's with a crit, it's gonna do way more damage. Seeing as like this build thrives in crits sometimes. If you wanted to use a power armor for this build, I would highly recommend using a. Let's see. I use well, where's my armor? I didn't put it in my inventory. Whoops. It was the where is it? It's here somewhere. Oh, I do have it on me. My T65 power armor. I don't have specifically good legendary effects on it. You know, when effects like automatically blocking attacks, and intelligence, and then just resistances in general. And intelligence is very important to get more XP because this build doesn't have a whole lot of XP compared to other high-level builds. But it does have a significant amount of XP. But all their players, like you guys, could have way better legendary effects. So that was my build. Gives you a lot of crit damage, VATS accuracy, and well, perception accuracy. That's my build. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If I missed anything that was important in this build, please comment down below. Hope you guys have a great day.